All right, let's move on to Chelsea, who are my surprise of the league so far. For them to be sitting third right now with all the problems that we know that this club has had, and playing good football, and the last game coming, when Arsenal played them, and then it was a 1-1 draw. That's just testament of where Chelsea are right now. They are competing with these big teams, and they are here to be reckoned with. What do you guys think?
Poof, yeah, I mean, surprise. Can't lie about that. Didn't have them in my top six. I think maybe top six, but definitely at the bottom of that top six. And here they are. Here they are. Kind of making a statement. To the league, and announcing themselves each and every game, showing much brighter colors than what we've seen over the last couple of years. More organization, more team chemistry, and that's giving them hope. It's crazy the job that Maresca is doing, because we were wondering if there was anybody on earth that could make sense of all these players and organize them and get them playing, and he's doing it. So lots of credit to him. We knew though that they had great players. I wouldn't say great, good players, good young players that needed to be molded, and he came and he's been doing just that. Just molding them, motivating them, getting them in the right positions, and getting the right style of play for the team. So, yes, I think they're still a little bit inconsistent in their performances. They still, lack that obviously experience into being ruthless and winning games. So, I would say I don't know if they can sustain it. I don't think they can sustain it. I don't want them to sustain it, right? They're looking like they can. They really are. They really are looking like they can. And looking at those 5 games as of recent, lots of draws, wins here and there, losses. As I said, very inconsistent. But we know the talent is there, and if they keep improving, they will be a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, big surprise too. That's Chelsea team. I did not see this coming, especially appointing Maresca, which was like everybody was kind of like, who's this guy? Like, just because he was assistant with Pep doesn't mean it's gonna be good,
And he was in the championship, so
yeah, and right. He was in the championship, So. Yeah, I mean, he's showing that he may be a very good manager. He's showing that he can do well. So, especially in this context, because this club has been a circus for like the last 3 years. So, being able to in this context come and do well is a big thing. And he settled the team down. He settled the club down, and they're playing well. I think what will be difficult, one thing that might hurt them in the end. They're definitely in the top 4 race. I think that they're a little bit below the title race level yet, but I think they're definitely in the top 4 race. One thing that might hurt them is their defense. Their defense is just they have too many shambolic, error-prone players at the back. That's the problem. That's the only problem, honestly, because from the midfield up is great. It's great players. You got very, very, very good options, and you got players that can come in and out and do the job. But at the back, man, like when you still have Badi Ashila at your club, like that's a problem, man. So, like, I don't want to pick on him, but it's just the easy one, man.
It's the obvious one.
It's the obvious one. And even the keeper, they keep buying 5 keepers, I feel, every transfer window. Somehow it's still Robert Sanchez starting. So, like, I don't know what's going on there. But, yeah, I think that might be what hurts them in the end. But with that firepower they have, they always got a chance to be up there and to and definitely, I think, be in the top 4 race. And yeah, I mean, yeah, they've been a big surprise. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how they keep going, see if they can keep it up. They've had some tough games lately, as you can see in the fixtures, and they've done all right. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what they can do.
we'll see how they can do it. Indeed, yeah. Chelsea has been, just a big surprise. I mean, kudos to Maresca, man. What a job he's doing over there is just unbelievable. The thing that I was gonna say about Chelsea is we're finally talking about football when we're referring to that club. For the last couple of years, it seems like it was just always about everything that's happening off the field, and
The
it was
dressing
just
room, yeah.
ridiculous. Finally, what Maresca has been doing is just like, let's concentrate on football. He's got a squad. He's got like 50 million players. He's narrowed it down to about 22, 23. All
Yeah.
right, and then he's working with this lot, and he's getting the tune out of Caicedo was nowhere to be seen last year. Now it looks like the player that is always he's probably the best six in the league right now. Right, that's my opinion. He's been playing that well. Madueke looks like a different player. I mean, your boy Madueke for Thierry, man. What can you say about Thierry about Madueke right now, man? You can't, right? He shut you up. The guy actually shut you up. That's kudos to Maresca. Jackson, come on, man, Jackson, your boy Jackson, Fred, bro. What is
Still shit, but okay.
No, he just come leaps and bounds, man. He can leaps and bounds. The guy is just, and that's what I'm when I look at a coach, especially coming into a new team like this, I look at what you're doing to improve what you have first, just like Slot is doing. Improve what you have first. Before now, you can go ahead and then implement your own style. And what he's been doing, yes, he has a lot of work defensively because none of these guys back there. And I think he's still experimenting because I don't think he has found his right pairing, especially as center back. You need that pairing to be there. I mean, there was a lot of hopes on Fofana. He was supposed to be growing as much as Saliba, but injuries messed him up a little bit. Yeah. But the guy is just not up to the level. We talked about Badia Shield. We talked about what's the other guy's name?
Colwell.
Colwell was supposed to be the next big thing. He's actually doing a little bit all right, but I mean, he's too young.
Sassy, you got guys like
Sassy, exactly. So I mean, it's just he's gonna have to sort it out, and he's got a couple of months of January to do that, and we'll see why he gets there. But I mean, just great work that he's doing right now, and I cannot lie, they're looking a little bit scary. What they will do, they will, beat teams that are inferior to them, and they can steal points off of the top teams as well. So they could be a real factor in that title race as well. So they're there to be reckoned with. Yeah. And it's just watch this space basically, for sure. All right, let's move on to Arsenal, sitting in fourth place right now, and season very, very lukewarm, man. What do you guys think?
The
Gunners.
The Gunners, yeah. We haven't had the chance to go over the last few results, but yes. Hey, what can we say here? What can we say so that we don't hurt no Arsenal fans' feelings, right?
Hey, you just go ahead, man. Because I don't even know if we'll have time to get to your team. So.
Okay.
I have to throw that in there.
Oh my! Look. Arsenal big favorite to win the league this season, right? Hasn't panned out the way they were anticipating, and that's something we've had the chance to talk about in our few recent reviews. The way they've been playing has been different from what it was last season. It's no more that exciting football, attacking football, positive. I wouldn't say it's negative. We've had that debate, but it's less positive, right? I think we can all agree on that. It's less, attacking, and even defensively. I think that's where the biggest shift has happened. The defense was their base for a couple of years, right, with Saliba and Gabriel. And this season, it hasn't been the case. They're conceding goals, and they're not finding the answers to go and win games. So it's a very shaky time at the moment for Arsenal. And looking at the results right here, the biggest surprise was that loss at Bournemouth, which was very indicative of where they are, at the moment. a little bit of inconsistencies, a little bit of I would say lack of bite, lack of killer instinct, and that's really costing them at the moment. And I really wonder if that's not going to shake up their confidence a little bit. We've seen that being a factor, the inconsistencies and losing games being a factor in their season before. And honestly, I really hope it's not the case, because we do want a nice title race. We do want, a surprise team to win the league this year. And Arsenal was very much up there, to compete against City. Liverpool is in that race now, and Arsenal not looking great. Let's see what they do. I think that, as you mentioned, Jan, the winter window is going to be very important for them, because we talked about it as well. We said there's a few positions that need a replacement. For you, Jan, it was the sixth position, or maybe the eighth position with Declan Rice. I would say, again, I have to keep hammering that point on. I think Havertz is just not gonna do it. They need something up top. They need an option up top. Maybe it's not a priority, but I think for me it will change the course of things for them. So yeah, that's me being pretty cool with Arsenal.
Objective.
Oh, man.
It's a first, isn't it?
I've been surprised with Arsenal. I think the approach, like Freddie said, was different. I've been more surprised with the approach, honestly, because I didn't expect them to come in this season and try to change their ways. Like, well, I wouldn't, maybe not change, not a dramatic change, but like they've definitely tried to play. I think they've been trying to play more safe, and I think. I don't know if it's as a result of coming second twice. Maybe that takes a toll on you, and where you're thinking, you know what, we need to be more tight. We need to just grind wins out, just get that win, just get that title, But I think they've moved away a little bit from what made them successful in the first place, and having those wingers and those attackers and kind of letting them like be loose and just being electric and committing so many people forward and then just being attacking in the approach and forward thinking in their approach. I think this year has been a lot more of like, we're just gonna get a goal or maybe 2 goals and then we take the win. Like we just take the win. We're not gonna go for 3, for 4, for 5, like before. We're just gonna take the win. If it's 1-0, it's 1-0. If it's 2-0, it's 2-0. If it's 2-1, it's 2-1. And I mean, so far, for me, it's been the wrong approach. Obviously, there are mitigating circumstances. They have missed Odegaard. Obviously, they've missed also a couple other players for some games. Not as long as Odegaard, but for games here and there. Also, you have the disciplinary issue, which you expect that won't be happening again. You expect, at least for probably the rest of the season, they're probably not going to be getting as many like red cards. So their form is going to improve for sure. Have they left themselves with too much to do? I don't know. 9 points is a lot, but it's also only been 11 games. So we don't know where that can take them. But yeah, I think, like Freddie said, like we go back to kind of the conversation, and I feel like anytime I spoke to an Arsenal fan, it's been like, why are you guys not getting a striker? Why are you guys not getting a striker? Why are you guys not getting a striker? And they'll all say the same thing. It's not the priority. If we find one that's nice, we'll get it, but it's not the priority. And I think it should have been. And I think we're seeing that maybe it should have been the priority, just getting a big forward, just getting somebody there that is kind of scary, and that other teams can be like, oof, whoa, Arsenal really, like, because I remember, I think it was, I don't know if y'all saw, but I'm sure you guys saw that the interview where everyone was talking, saying Arsenal is like a Netflix like special, whatever. But in the same interview, like, they was discussing a little bit about the forward thing, and he went back to when we signed Van Persie, like Manu, and gave that as an example, where it's like you go and you sign that big striker, and you make your team play to his strengths. Because another thing that was being said by like another like knockback of not getting a striker was like, oh, we need to find one that fits the style of play, that fits how we play. Like Tony doesn't fit, Osimhen doesn't fit. You know, they don't fit how Arsenal wants to play. But I'm like, why don't you just get a striker and play to his strengths? Like, surely that's what you do, you know, like surely, like Man City, for example, to a lesser extent, but since they got Haaland, they're a bit more vertical. They try through balls more. They do that a little bit more. It wasn't been like a massive change, but like you see them try these things a little bit more, you know. They go long a bit more because they have a big guy up top. Why don't you get that striker and then play to his strengths, and then he might win you the league, you know? But I don't know. They didn't get it, and you can say that's the only reason why they are. They've had tough games and mitigating circumstances, but that may come back to bite them this season, I think.
Yeah. So first of all, I would say probably that the league. I'll probably consider the league now because 9 points and chasing two teams, essentially. If I don't put Chelsea in there, is just gonna be a tall order for me. So I will probably be one that would say the league is gone. You know, let's just finish as high as possible. But I don't think we can be in the conversation to be contenders anymore. 9 points is a lot, especially with CE, and CE hasn't got going still second, like we spoke earlier, and Liverpool playing as they are right now, and us playing as we are right now. As you say, like things will improve, especially with Odegaard back. And but I was just gonna go back on 2 points that you raised. First of all, Freddie, your point about being a little bit more negative. I think, you know, last year the foundation of Arteta was defensive, but because we were scoring so many goals, you know, it didn't look like we were negative, if you see what I mean. But this year, without that creativity, that's just missing, and that's exactly what's missing right now. And conceding just stupid goals because we haven't kept a clean sheet in so long now. You know what I mean? And so that's when it's showing that, oh, listen, they're still playing that defensive football that they did last year, but without the creativity going forward now, and it looks like it's more negative. I don't think it's a tactic that Arteta actually told them. You know, you got to be more defensive. I just think that going forward, we're just missing that creativity. We're just missing what we had last year. And you know, the debate about getting the striker and was it a priority or not? And I've said that, and I will say that again, because the thinking behind that can shift from where we were in the summer to where we are now. The thing that I was saying about that is looking at, and that's where we can only, you know, refer ourselves to looking at last year when I think we scored 92 goals last year. We scored so many goals. That's what I'm saying, that the priority wasn't getting that striker, because the priority wasn't getting goals because we were getting it. For me, the priority was getting a replacement for Bukayo Saka and getting a replacement, more importantly, for Odegaard, which we've seen now. Without Odegaard, we look toothless up front. We look toothless. So you can have, and just like you look at City now, you can have the best striker up there. If there's no one to serve him, there's not much you can do. You know what I mean? So, but now I agree with you guys that the conversation has shifted now. So now in January, our priority, considering that Jesus is nowhere to be found, Havertz is not going to do it. Now the priority is shifted. Now the priority is to get a striker that's going to finish the dinner. You know what I mean? So those things can coexist, and the conversation about getting the striker was only based on last year, and during the summer that was the conversation, and that conversation for me has shifted now. So now there's no excuse to go and get an Isaac, go and get what's his name, the guy in Sporting. But I think that guy is probably bound to you guys now because of the coach going to you guys.
Yeah,
you know, you're gonna have to go and put that money in now, because that's what we need, because we look toothless up front, and that's the reality. results haven't been great, and that will need to change. Is that change gonna be enough to go and win the league? For me, realistically, I don't think that's gonna happen. So I'll probably consider the league today.
Yeah. Fair analysis. I will say so. Fair analysis on all of that. Yeah, I agree that the conversation has shifted. But again, is it? I wouldn't say excuse because you're not using it as an excuse, but one player being away in Odegaard has really changed the way you played, right? And you were right. That would have been a great thing to replace him or have a replacement for him at the time. But I feel like with that came a little bit of a philosophy change. Just like you said, I think those two things, and that's a different topic, can exist together as well. The fact that, yes, you are playing a little bit less positive than you used to, but at the same time, it is a result of the lack of potency, up front. I do think there is a little bit of correlation there with the two, but can't disagree with anything you said. At this point in time, you guys definitely need somebody up top with Odegaard back, obviously, and
to your point now, but yeah, you can say just one guy, is removed from your team, and then it all collapses. But let's just consider who that guy is, for example. You know what I mean? Odegaard is probably one of the best top 10 tens in the world right now. You know what I mean? So he is a heavy influence. So if he's not there in a team, in any team, then if he's not there, if you remove him, then you cannot play the same than what he's there. So so you have to play differently. You have to find ways to win the game in a different way compared to when Odegaard is, and which is what we were doing, but it's not been as successful because we were now relying on set pieces, because that's where we find that is our best weapon with that Odegaard. Just rely on the set pieces to go and find our goals, because that creativity that Odegaard brings us on the field without him was not there. You understand what I mean? And that's basically it, But there's that shift that's been done, but it hasn't worked. So it looks bad on the team. You understand what I mean? If he had worked, then everybody would have been like, "Oh, Arteta is a genius. He found a different way to win the game." But right now, if it's not working, then he has to go, and it's down to him as well. He has to go on on the drawing board and think of something else to do to try and go and get that result. Because you haven't bought a replacement for him, then now you have to deal with it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And we've all said at the beginning of the season that this is do or die for Arteta for me. Because this year you have to win something, and something major. I'm not talking about the League Cup. You know what I mean? FA Cup, and FA Cup doesn't come alone. FA Cup comes with probably being second and probably going to the final of the Champions League at least, and then we'll be okay with that. FA Cup by itself and finishing third or fourth and getting out of the quarterfinals of the Champions League, that's for me not good enough as well. You know what I mean? So unless you get in those two major trophies, if you get in that little one, then he has to come with something behind it, and that's on him. And that, just to be fair, that is what Arteta needs to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
the pressure is mounting, man. The pressure is
definitely mounting.
What I would say to that, I mean, about Odegaard obviously missing, is that obviously, like, I think you do want your best, maybe 1-2 players in your team to not really be replaceable, because like if, for example, Rodri at City, if you can find another Rodri, then Rodri wouldn't be Rodri. You probably don't want to. If you can find a player that's nearly as good as Odegaard, then that means probably Odegaard is not that good. Yeah, so I understand. Oh yes, we're missing Odegaard. If it was maybe Saka, it could have been as well. Oh yeah, we're missing Saka. So, but my thing is that's why I always thought that the striker was a priority for you guys, because it's like, yes, we're missing Odegaard, but we have this guy that can bang in goals on a whim, that can bail us out. Like that's what we were talking about just before about City, where Haaland bails them out so much, And let's not forget that City won a league without a striker, and they still went and bought Haaland. So they even understood and they're the best team. That they do need that striker. You know, you do need that number 9 to bail you out sometimes. And that's why I mean we hopped on about it in the summer.
Yeah,
and all that. We're very surprised.
I wasn't disagreeing with you when you were saying it, but we were talking about priorities, because I wasn't saying I wasn't saying that we don't need a striker. If you remember what I was saying,
I totally agree. Yeah.
But right now, looking at the team, the major problems are somewhere else, because we were scoring so many goals. That has to be a factor. If last year we weren't scoring as many goals, then yes, your argument is totally fair. But now, moving forward and realizing that we're not as potent as last year, that and you know, Jesus coming back hasn't been what I thought it was going to be, because he was supposed to come back and help because he didn't help the team last year. Basically, he was supposed to come back and help the, you know, fit Jesus. Things are going to change. That hasn't materialized. So yes, now I agree with you guys. That is the priority.
Well, one thing I'll say quickly to that though is that last year and even the years before, if I remember correctly, most of your goals didn't come from a striker. It came from the wings. It came from obviously.
It was basically shared out. It was shared out.
Yeah. It was really spread out, and I think that's a little bit of what the point is. You know, that you want, not always, but it's preferable that you have that striker that takes the most share of those goals. And you guys went on a couple of seasons without that, so that's why we felt like. It's that time. It's that time to get that guy that, you know, no matter what, is going to be, you know. And for us, it was a priority. For me, looking at Arsenal, I'm like, man, if they have that top guy up front, man, that they're gonna be a killer team. For me, right? And I can completely understand your point of view as well. You know, looking at the play, looking at the fact that goals wasn't necessarily an issue, but it seems like teams have figured out that, hey, let's lock up the sides, and that's it. They have no options, because Havertz needs mad service. He needs like tap-ins, right? He's not going to create.
And that's why, you know, to your point, that's why hindsight is 2020, because you know, going into the new season, the expectation that was that the goals were going to be shared out the same as it was last year. You understand? So. To that point, let's strengthen that service that's going to come and provide those goals more than, you know, getting that striker, because even the strikers that we have, yes, they're not top, but they were getting their fair share of goals. You know what I mean? Yeah, so, but now, since that's not happening, now, yes, we do need that killer up front, and that was just my point. And I understand your points as well. And but yeah. That's just how it is. So all in all, you know, it's just a disappointing start of the season, and I mean, Arteta needs to get back to the drawing board and start working. Unless he wants to get fired. I don't think he'll get fired.
And maybe the fact that all eyes are not on Arsenal, maybe that can be the saving grace.
That could help because we've seen for the last, you know. You will say bottle jobs to Arsenal fan, and they go into the big tantrum, including me. I'm not gonna lie, but basically, if you look at the last 3 years, we have buckled under pressure. When the pressure was applied, we buckled. However you want to frame that, is just evident. So what you're saying is great. Maybe now, if the pressure is a little bit off, because we're thinking that you're not gonna, from now on to the end of the season, you're not gonna go and get the league. Maybe that's when they play off pressure and then they go get results. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Right.